thank you for joining me for Latin Motion Level 1. This is one of my most requested topics that I receive in my private classes, so I decided to make 3 separate videos to help you learn and incorporate Latin leg and hip action into your social dancing. Before we start, I just want to briefly say there are different types of Latin action. We have international style, which is danced on straight knees. There are street styles in which both knees remain bent. And then we have a salsa or American style rhythm technique in which the knees alternate bending and straightening. And I'm going to be teaching the 3rd one as I'm gearing these videos toward social dancers. Before we get into the video, I just want to remind you to subscribe to my channel, give this video a like if you find it helpful, or leave a comment below. Thank you so much. Now let's get dancing. Okay, I'm super excited to share this topic with you today, as it's something that can completely change the quality of your dancing, the way you feel, and the way you look. So let's get started. First, I'm going to have you stand with your feet together, and we're just going to alternate bending and straightening the knee. So first I'm going to bend my right knee, and I'm going to leave my left knee straight, and then I'm going to switch. Bend the left knee, leaving the right knee straight. And I'm just going to do that. And as you can see, naturally when I bend one of my knees, my pelvic structure is going to move side to side. So that's the first step. Now, from here, we want to make sure that the knee that's bending is the leg that's bearing my weight, okay? So if the knee that's bending is not bearing my weight, what it's going to look like is this, which, as you can see, is not very attractive. So what we want to do is make sure that as I bend my knee, I'm taking my shoulder over that leg and making sure that that foot has weight on it, yeah? So a test that I like to do, although your weight will be distributed between the 2 feet when you're dancing, a test to make sure that your weight is on that foot is to see if you can lift the other foot up off the ground. If you can't lift the leg that's straight off the ground, you need to put more weight onto the bent knee. So we put our weight on the bent knee, and then I switch and I put my weight on the other knee and switch. And when you're doing this, it's going to be tempting to lift the heels off the ground, but for right now, to keep everything as simple and clear as possible, I want you to try to do this action keeping both feet firmly planted on the ground. Sometimes it's easier to feel this with our feet apart, so we can also try that. So we bend our right knee, we bend our left knee, we bend our right, we bend our left. All the while, you want to be making sure that your hip is going in the opposite direction of the foot that you're stepping on. We don't want to take the hip with us. We always, no matter which direction we're stepping, are going to be leaving our hip behind. Yep, so if I'm bending my right knee, my hip's going to the left. If I bend my left knee, my hip goes to the right. We want to keep practicing that. That's level 1. Switch, 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 switch. Now, once we're more comfortable with that, we'll bring our feet back together. And I start again, switching the knees, making sure that my weight is going over the bent knee, making sure that my hip is going in the opposite direction of the foot that I'm stepping on. When I feel comfortable with this, what I'm going to do is start taking baby steps forward, maintaining that same technique. I'm stepping onto a bent knee, my opposite knee is straight, I leave my hip behind, and I walk. Step, 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 step. Again, making sure that I'm not leading with my hip when I step. I leave the hip behind with my straight leg, and I step, and I step. And this is usually easiest to achieve taking small steps to begin with. As we get more comfortable with the technique, we can start to take more of a normal size step, but for now, I find it's easiest just to kind of inch forward, okay? So we'll do that again. I start by switching my weight in place. And when I feel comfortable, I'm gonna just take baby steps forward, maintaining that action. I switch my knees. Knee, knee, knee. It sometimes helps also to think that your knee is leading the action. That's the thing that's taking you forward, okay? Now we're gonna do the same thing going backward, which for most people is more difficult, so you just have to be patient with yourself. I can't stress enough how useful it is just to practice this in place for longer than you think you should before you start to walk, because it's really going to help your body assimilate the technique so that you can use it while you're moving. So we'll start here, and then we're gonna start to inch back. Baby steps back, maintaining the same technique. I'm walking onto a bent knee. Yep, I'm gonna warn you, the most common mistake that I see when I'm teaching this is we're here, we're doing great, and we start to walk and we switch, and we start going onto a straight knee. So you wanna make sure that you continue to put your weight over the knee that's bending. But we're here, and we inch backward, but the knee keeps coming forward, even as we move back. Okay? Now I'm just gonna cover one other direction, which is going to the side. And that'll be the end of this level 1 video. And I encourage you to practice this a little bit every day. My students tell me all the time that they're in the supermarket with their cart, going like this, or they're washing dishes, going like this. It really is something that requires diligence because it's not easy, but the more repetition you get, the easier it becomes and the more effortless it'll feel while you're dancing. So the last exercise that we're gonna do in this video is the side to side. So again, I'm gonna start in place. This is our base. Making sure that I'm putting my weight over the bent knee, letting my hip go in the opposite direction of the foot that I'm stepping on. And then I'm going to step out to the side. And when I say to the side, not a huge step. The bigger your step is, the more tempting it's gonna be to do funny things with the hips. I'm really, for this exercise, gonna request that you just step right underneath your hips. Yeah, so when I say hip width apart, I'm standing with my feet right underneath where my hip sockets are, okay? So we start here, 1, 2, 3, and I'm gonna go side, together, switching the knees, together, side, together, side, together. And then I'll stand in place, make sure that I have my base, and I'll do the other side. Side, together, side, together, side, together, side, together, march in place, 2, bending and straightening the knees. So something that I hear almost on a daily basis, when I say to my students, straighten your knee, they say to me, my knee is straight. So sometimes it's not easy to be aware of whether our knees are really straight or not. And the thing about Latin motion is if we dance it with slightly relaxed knees, it's going to affect the way that it manifests in the rest of our body. So we do really want to make sure that the knee that's straight is really straight. A good way to check this when you're dancing in place is to turn to the side of your mirror and make sure that you're getting a triangle of space between your front knee and your back knee. And you switch, and you can see that triangle between the knees. If I dance with slightly bent knees, I won't get that full triangle. Whereas if I do, straighten my knee, you can see it. So that's a good thing to check while you're practicing this at home. So that's it for my level 1 Latin motion video. I recommend, if you're new to dancing, practicing these concepts a little bit every day, making sure that you're paying attention to the key concepts presented in this video. So we're alternating our knees, making sure that we're putting our weight over the bent knee, making sure that the hip is going in the opposite direction of the foot that you're stepping on, and making sure that the knee that's straightening is getting really straight. Once you have a handle on these concepts, feel free to move on to level 2. Until next time, keep dancing.